Champ talk, shooting shots, they just want me to fade. But my game made when I'm getting buckets today. Crossover, pull up, bet you fall for the hezzy. Game 7, prime time is butterflies on your belly. Now can you do it? Folding under the pressure, boy, can you do it? If you going, show 'em who better. Don't let the game slip and don't get caught in the lights. Crown me, yeah, Jordan taking off on the
Baby,
flight.
give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can't be done. They said it can't be done. Give me all the rings right now, we the champions. We the champions. I do my thing right now and it can't be done. They said it can't be done.
Boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
God damn it.
That's how I feel today, y'all. That's how I feel today. That's how I feel today. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy AB, and welcome to Open Gym Overreaction Tuesday. The day after every Eagles game, we're going to be here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. Oh, man, about last night, Monday Night Football, Nick Foles' retirement, Jason Kelce back with ESPN, Atlanta Falcons in town, winning Brazil, come back, try to build on it. Oh, boy. I mean, what else? What else can you say, man? What else can you say?
God damn it.
I mean, it's that simple. We're going to get right into it. I appreciate you guys all coming in here, tapping in with us this morning after Eagles loss. About to jump into Delaware. Like, they already coming in here. Yep, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Again, make sure you like, comment, share. Welcome to Open Gym. I appreciate my partners as always. Philly Sports Network, Metro Philly. All right, let's get into it. Without further ado, I can see you guys coming in here. Obviously, I like to interact with everyone that's here, is in here. So, hit the comment section. Give me your thoughts. What's going about the game, what happened during the game, what you like, what you didn't like, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the above. Obviously, as well, we have the number as well. Now, if you want to, call in, leave a message. We'll play some of your reactions today on this live. If we get some in, I'll expound on it, talk about it. Yeah, so let's hop right into it. As we all seen last night, the Eagles Monday Night Football played against you had the visiting Atlanta Falcons in the town. Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, all those guys, Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, all those guys in town. Where do I even start? It's so much that happened during this game that I just didn't understand. So let's walk through it. Let's start at the start of the game. We all know the Falcons, they won the toss. They elected to kick off so they can get the second half. They get the ball at the second half. So the Eagles' first possession from the gate. Didn't really understand what was going on. One, I don't understand how Saquon Barkley doesn't touch the football whatsoever when it comes to what's going on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome coming in. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. About to jump into Delaware. Absolutely. So to start off the first drive, all passes, no runs, not even short passes. And then not only that, we back to the read option. Let me say this before I continue. Who was coaching in the beginning of this game? At the start of this game, did we get a new offensive coordinator? Is his name not Kellen Moore, or do we still have Brian Johnson as our offensive coordinator? Because if I see one more uh read option, bubble screen, quarterback design run, like just get it out the playbook. Just get it out the playbook. Just get it out of the playbook, please. It doesn't work for us. The league obviously has caught up to it. And this is not a slight on him. We don't have a quarterback or a runner like a Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray type, where, you can still do plays like that and it still be effective. So from the get-go, let's just get that out of the way overall. But back to the game. First drive. I don't know what happened. 3 and out, no runs to Saquon. Already going into the game, we all know that A.J. Brown wasn't going to play, and it also was announced that obviously he'll be out a couple weeks. So these next couple weeks, as we get further into the show, we'll, discuss that as far as what's on the schedule and what's down the line for the Eagles. But we all know A.J. Brown didn't play this game. He'll be out for a couple weeks as well. It was just, to me, looking at this game, it was just poorly coached, poorly called, and just situationally, and also the thing that came back again as well when it comes to this team was sloppy. Penalties are still happening. Not saying the refs wasn't the best last night. They definitely wanted to be a part of the game. But at the same token, it still was sloppy. Still were penalties that were made throughout the game, even late, that haunted us as well. Like I said, play calling was terrible first half. It got a little better later on in the second half, but I do believe a lot of that was more so Jalen Hurts just wanting to win. And we'll get into Jalen Hurts as well because I know that's a hot topic as well. Knowing you going into a game, granted, and I said it the day before, it wasn't much that we would have to do to win this game, and it was evident last night. We didn't have to do a lot. We didn't have to get overly creative. We didn't have to be overly, aggressive. It was just a simple, as common and as cliche it might be, it was just a simple way we could attack this game last night. And this is just my personal opinion, what I've seen and how I looked at the game going into it. Give the ball to the playmakers. I said it over and over again on the last stream. Just get the ball to your playmakers. Rather it is short passes, running the ball a little bit more with Saquon, or even if you want to save Saquon, and I hear that argument as well, don't want to burn him out. You got 2 other running backs that's here that I feel are capable, at least in, situationally. You go from last year using Kenny Gainwell more than your starting running back and DeAndre Swift to this year, he can't get on the field at all. I think I've seen Kenny out there maybe twice. Will Shipley, who you drafted late, but made the roster as the number 3 running back, can't see any action. And again, this is not saying these guys would have made the game better. I'm just more so speaking on the fact of how simple it could have been going into this game with using everyone at your disposal, knowing that literally, if not your best player, arguably your best player on offense, and A.J. Brown not being there last night. It could have been very simple. I think Jahan Dotson, the newcomer, I think he only was targeted maybe once or twice, maybe I think he caught the ball once for 6 yards. Like I said, Dallas Goedert was just absent throughout the whole night. And not that he wasn't out there, not that he wasn't running routes, not that he wasn't engaged in the game, just wasn't targeted a lot. Like I said, the first half, it felt like they didn't even want to use Saquon at all. The route concepts that were being ran. Britton Covey. If I see another Britton Covey, y'all see where I'm at when it comes to this. I know Britton Covey, I think he caught the ball 6 times for like 60 yards or something. It was something like 30 yards. It was something crazy. I could pull up the stats here. I don't want to be just making up stuff because I know right now is a bit emotional for everybody. Okay, Britton Covey catches the ball 6 times for 23 yards. Saquon, he caught 4 passes. Devontae caught 7 passes for 76 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously Devontae, I have no issues with his game last night. He did what he could do, obviously being the main guy out there. But like I said, Britton Covey 6 times, and all of them bubble screens. And you got Devontae Smith being your lead blocker. Dallas Goedert, like I said, he only caught the ball 3 times for 38 yards. So they let you know when he was targeted and when he did catch the ball, he was effective. Jalen Hurts, 30 attempts, 23 completions, 183 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Obviously, at the end of the game, 1 sack. He rushed for 85 yards, 13 attempts, 1 rushing touchdown as well. I put this on the coaches. I put this on the coaches a lot. Just looking at the game plan, how they wanted to attack last night, how they wanted to attack the Falcons last night. Offensive line did not play as well as they did the first game. Like I said, they had moments, but there was a lot of them getting into the backfield, a lot of negative plays. You know, when they did finally run the ball with Saquon. Like I said, we got the 2 studs in the back with Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons as safety. So I understand, not wanting to take too many deep shots or, play with them too much. But again, where was the crosser routes? Where was the seam routes for the tight end screen even? You want to throw a screen for Britton Covey. Why Jahan Dotson could get a couple of these screens with his speed and athleticism? Why Dallas Goedert couldn't get a couple of his screens with his athleticism and yards after the catch that he usually gets? Dallas never goes down after the first hit. You might worry about, them going after the ball. But again, this is what I was speaking about when speaking about going into this game last night. It was real simple. It was very simple as always in next year, brother. Dang, next year I gotta wait till next year. But it's always, it was very simple for this team to go out and get this win. Again, we both teams only cracked 20 points, 22-21. So it wasn't like it was a high-powered offense that was coming into the league. And I'm going to get to the defense because not only the coaches, this defense is in trouble. And I'll get to that. But I'm going to stay on the offensive side right now. Again, play calling was not the best at all. At all. At times just not understanding what was the plan. Why make it so hard for yourself? It can be also very simple. We have talent all around on this roster that we could sit here and utilize, and not basically do what Atlanta did all night. They didn't do much, but they got the ball to the playmaker's hand and just say, hey, try something, do something. And late in the game, they did that and went down there and scored. So it's like, I felt like it was too overthought it too much going for it on 4th down in the first half, leaving points on the floor, which we will get to as well. Leaving points on the field, rather. obviously the decision towards the end of the game where I'm not mad at the decision because if it worked, we're praising them. And I'm not, but at the end of the day, players got to execute. I'm not blaming the loss on Saquon Barkley, not whatsoever. But in that moment, you have to catch that ball. Saquon Barkley has to catch that ball. We ran that play quite a few times earlier in the game, even on that drive. If I'm not mistaken, he caught one even on that drive. You have to catch that ball. Rather, your decision to just run the clock out, and that's a whole nother discussion we'll get in that as well. But it's the NFL. They wanted to just ice the game, win the game right then and there, just like in basketball. We know you only down 2. You could tie the game up with a 2-point, but sometimes, I just want to go to that 3. I want to kill it, and I want to win this game, and let's go home. So I'm not mad at the decision overall, at that spectrum, because at the end of the day, the play absolutely worked. It absolutely worked. It worked to perfection. Not only because first of all, we just did it the play before when he called them down, but not only he would have had the first down, he possibly could have scored 2 as well. But either way, let's just say just get the first down, the game is over. We don't have to worry about them getting the ball back whatsoever. We're taking 3 knees and we're done. There's no more timeouts. So I'm not mad at the grand spectrum of the play especially because it worked. But as a head coach, and this is how we're going to flip to the defense as well. As a head coach, you have to realize the situation, realize the moment, and this falls on Vic Fangio as well. Realize that your defense, yes, made some stops late. Obviously, the great play by C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which he had to make up for because obviously the series previously, he gave up the touchdown. But you have to read the situation and let's say, hey, let's dial it back. Let's not be as aggressive. We've been aggressive all night and it didn't work for us as well. Let's just run out this clock. Let's just run this ball. Again, worst come to worst. Let's say you go for it on 4th down. Turnovers on down. That's the worst come to worst. The Falcons still have no timeouts left. And now they have to go 90 yards down the field to score a touchdown instead of 60 from them starting at the 30-yard line after the kickoff. So I know there's a lot of different variables when it comes to that last play, and we're going to talk about it. And y'all let me know, talk to me. I personally, even though I feel like it was a bad game call by the offensive coordinator, head coach, whoever's out there doing whatever, that play particularly, I believe it was okay with me. It set well with me. I wasn't upset at the fact that why did we go for it on 3rd and 3? Or not even go for it, but throw on 3rd and 3. Yes, logically. I'm going to say it time and time again. Yes, logically. You run that ball, run that clock out, and I'm with you. That's my first inkling before I even go there. But the play worked. Saquon has to catch that ball. But then, obviously, Jalen Hurts compiles that with another interception. Trying to go for too much. Jesse Bates is right there reading the play all the way. Devontae Smith was nowhere near open. They ride him the whole way. I guess looking back at the play, the only person who had an actual chance at the ball, or at least in football terms that he could be able to throw it to, was Britton Covey, who was also running semi the same route, but it was under Devontae Smith's route, which I look back at that now, just thinking about it now. Why we have Britton Covey in, I don't understand it. But bad play by Jalen Hurts. But for everyone that's out there sitting there saying that this is on Jalen Hurts or he had a bad game, you're totally in the wrong when it comes to that. Totally in the wrong when it comes to Jalen Hurts and when it comes to this game. Without Jalen Hurts in this game, there wouldn't be any game. Like I said earlier, other than the pass to Devontae Smith early on for that touchdown, the offense struggled most of the night as a unit. Saquon individually, Saquon had a decent game. Devontae Smith had a decent game, but as a unit, offensively, it was not a good game whatsoever. So Jalen Hurts took things into his own hands. Like I said, I read the stats earlier. Jalen Hurts rushed, Jalen Hurts rushed 13 times for 85 yards and a touchdown. So to me, Jalen Hurts absolutely showed up. And I would say, I'm not saying perfect, but definitely this was Jalen Hurts' probably best game out of the 2 games that we've seen so far. Hands down. Throwing the ball, we seen some good throws. We see him manipulating the pocket at times. Even on the pass to Devontae Smith for a touchdown, way to stand in the pocket, manipulate the pocket, slide to your right, move up in the pocket, deliver the ball over 3 defenders in the back of the end zone. Great pass. It was some passes earlier in the game. Same situation, manipulating the pocket, moving around in the pocket. Dallas Goedert down the middle of the field. Devontae Smith with a catch down the middle of the field. Some good things, also some bad things with Jalen. Like I said, at times I felt like he still escaped the pocket too soon to run, rather than him being, not tall enough to see over the line, or he's more comfortable running to his right and then throwing it, wherever it might be. Again, still needs to cut that down as well when it comes to him, escaping the pocket. But again, to sit here and sit back and try to say that Jalen Hurts was the issue or the reason why they lost this game, you're absolutely wrong to even think about something like that. Was it a perfect game for him? No, but was it the best game he probably had? And the things that he did, he had to do, knowing that the offense was struggling, knowing that you're missing A.J. Brown, knowing that you really didn't have really a passing attack, and knowing that they was keying in a lot on Saquon Barkley, even though he had a good game. These are the things that we have to start looking at when it comes as a collective, as a team. I know the quarterback gets all the praise, but he also gets all the blame. Rightfully so. He's the quarterback of an NFL franchise. But not only coordinators not calling a great game, players didn't show up the way they. Like I said, go back to the offensive line. I know it won't be talked about a lot. It's not a fancy subject. The offensive line, to me, did not have a good game. Overall, Lane Johnson got beat a few times. Matthew Judon had a great day yesterday. Monday, the first game, week 1 in Brazil, Lane Johnson and Becton, the right tackle and the right guard, they was graded out as the best right guard, right tackle tandem of that week, giving up no pressures, giving up no sacks, X, Y, and Z, all the above. It wasn't that last night. Matthew Judon and Jared had a great, I ain't gonna say great, but they had a good game last night. Like I said, Lane Johnson didn't have the best game. Seen him get beat a couple times. Becton seen him get a couple times. Jordan Mailata as well on his side, seen him get beat a couple times on run plays. Not holding your block, giving time for Saquon to make a move, getting blown up at the point of attack, getting pushed back. Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Becton, Landon Dickerson getting pushed back. These are the things that I'm seeing, offensive line. And then to couple that with them not already struggling, it was a couple times I'm seeing the play calling, going back to the coordinators, we have tight ends one-on-one with Matthew Judon. And then not only tight ends, not Dallas Goedert. I wouldn't want that matchup anyway. But not only it wasn't Dallas Goedert, it was Kyle Katerra. Kyle Katerra, your backup tight end, one-on-one with Matthew Judon. Where and what situation and what scenario is that a good idea?
God damn it!
Where in any of that is a good idea? That basically 2 years ago, the Super Bowl year when we went to the Super Bowl, that was the reason why Brock Purdy got injured. They put a tight end on Hassan Reddick, and he got to Brock Purdy. So in what scenario putting a tight end, not only your tight end, your backup tight end, and not only your backup tight end, your pass catching tight end, because Calcaterra is not the greatest of blockers. So your pass catching tight end, blocking one-on-one with Matthew Judon ain't been the same since he got rocked in public. Hey man, leave Dallas Goddard alone, man. That was a whole nother situation. This ain't on Dallas. They talk about my man Dallas since he got rocked. Why you trying to come in here with your nonsense with that? Leave Dallas alone. But all the seriousness though, where and what scenario is that going to be right? Back to play calling. In the red zone quite a few times, and down in the red zone, what do we see? Nothing across the middle, no runs, no screens, no anything else we could have did. We go with Britton Covey bubble screen left, Britton Covey bubble screen right. Okay, we ain't got it. Now we're going to run up the middle with Jalen Hurts. We're back to the same old stuff, which is really bothering me because, and it will lead me to my next subject. I would say here will lead me to my next subject when it comes to that. Do we have a Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni issue? And I'm serious, and I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. Do we have a Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore issue? Is there a power struggle? Is there, I want to run my play now. I want to keep my plays in the fold. I want to do this. I want to do that. Let's go for it here. Let's not go for it. Do we have a Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore issue? I know it's week 2, and I'm not usually your whistleblower or your person to sit there and try to start any situation or something like that. But at the end of the day, one thing that was explained to us as fans is Nick Sirianni has he has a say. So if he wants something to happen, he could do that. You know, we all know Kellen Moore is the play caller. He's running the show. But do we need Nick Sirianni interjecting during it? And this is not to absolve Kellen Moore for what he did. Absolutely not. This is not absolve Kellen Moore play calling last night and how egregious it was. But at the same token, we still not on top of already the play calling isn't at its best. Now we're coupling that with I want to go for it on 4th down in the first half. I don't believe that was a Kellen Moore situation. Because just as much as people would talk about how we should have ran the ball at the end of that game just to waste time, as we all know, and we can all sit back and look back and say, hey, this is just at its core, at its basis of football, give them as less time as possible to go as the longest yards of the field. I feel like early on in the game, that was probably the easiest decision you could have made. And I believe that was a Nick Sirianni decision. It has to be. Because there's no way you can go off drive number 1, series number 1, with the bad play calling there. You know, your first 15 plays scripted, 3 and out. Come back your second series, actually have, it wasn't the second series, I'm sorry, it was about the 3rd or 4th. But by the time you get there, you actually have some type of momentum. You have some type of, rhythm going on down in the field, and you finally get to the red zone. It's 0-0. This is the best you probably felt. And we all know football is a momentum game, whether it's 3 points, 2 points, or 7 points, 6 points that you're scoring. It's all about momentum. So to go down and finally have a rhythm and momentum in the game, kick the field goal, get the points. But no. Again, I believe our head coach, Nick Sirianni, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Which bites us in the butt at the end of this game. We lost this game 22-21. If we scored those 3 points, even with that touchdown that they scored at the end of the game, even with that drop pass that Saquon had, even with that interception that Jalen Hurts had, we still win this game. I know hypotheticals. I know he say, she say, revisionist history, hindsight is 2020. I get all the puns and the cliches. But that's just fact. That's absolute fact. Absolute fact. That not only haunted us late not having points, it also gave the Falcons life, gave them a little momentum, kept them to be able to hang around. Because if I'm not mistaken, the next possession later, they go down there and score. So this fan here, can't wait to see these two teams play in week 15, but the Eagles start putting more points on it. Absolutely. That's a Steelers fan. They need to start pulling more points on the board. And the way this offense is running right now, it doesn't work. Where's up our nice shit? They killing Nick Sirianni in the chat, y'all. And listen, at the end of the day, it falls on him. He's the head coach. He's make those decisions to go forward on fourth down. He is responsible for having his team prepared at all times for every game, not looking over opponents, not thinking it's going to be easy or coming into a game not respecting the opponent. Not saying that they did, but these are the things that we seen on the field. Lack of preparation, penalties, sloppy play, still there. Bad play calling, bad situational and late game decision making. These are the things that we all know a lot of responsibility has been taken off of Nick Sirianni's shoulders. These are the things that he still has say in and what he does. So do we have a Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore situation? And that's a real question that we need to start asking ourselves. That is a serious question we need to answer ourselves, because for what I seen last night on that field, it tends to lead me to that direction. That this is going to be something we need to monitor, we need to look at throughout this year. Because I don't care what no one says, when you're a head coach and you think you are offensive head coach, you think you have offense down packed, you was a wide receiver head coach, you had all these things originally, and then everything was stripped away from you. I don't care who you are, and I don't care how bad the job was to you, or how bad of a job that you did. When things are ripped from you and took from you, these things will affect you. Rather, I wanted to say, I'm sorry. These things will affect you rather, no matter what you might say. My man Kobe in the chat, what's going on, Bob? Tried to kill you, Kellen Moore, man. Hey, listen, you did, and again, I'm not absolving him. I'm not saying I was the biggest Kellen Moore guy when he came to the team. Now, what I've always said was he better than what we had, Brian Johnson? Absolutely. And that's night and day, cool. That's night and day. That's night and day as far as what you see offensively from last year to this year. But shoot, to your point, last night specifically, it looked a whole lot like last year early on, for sure. So again, I pose the question to you guys. Do we have a Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni issue in Philadelphia? Or, I'm not going to say it's an issue, but is this something we need to look at moving forward in this season? So, because what I've seen, it's a lot of conflicting situations that's going on in this field. Because again, someone got to be the grown up in this situation and say, I don't think this. And granted, Kellen Moore probably can't say that to Nick Sirianni. If Nick Sirianni make that decision and say, "Hey, go forward on fourth down," you do what your boss essentially tells you to do. But at the same token, I cannot sit here and believe that Kellen Moore sat there and was okay with that. But Then again, if he was, that's a bigger issue that we had because now we got two guys that's just like off the rails, essentially like that moving forward. So that's something I feel like we definitely have to think about moving forward when it comes to our coordinators. And then also overall, the game plan offensively just was not where it needed to be. No way. Nowhere near where it needed to be. When you look at the receiving distribution throughout all of our receivers that we had, because Paris Campbell was even in the game, but let's just go off everyone who was at least targeted last night. So everyone who was at least targeted last night once or more from the offense was Johnny Wilson, Jahan Dotson, Grant Calcaterra, Britton Covey, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Kenny Gainwell, Saquon Barkley. Out of all those guys, obviously Devontae will get share the bulk of it. 7 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. Cool. Can y'all tell me who was right behind him with the most targets after that? Can anyone guess who had the most targets after that? Britton Covey. So go in with no AJ, right? This goes back to what I said earlier as far as it could be oh so simple. No AJ. You still got another stud wide receiver in Devontae Smith, who's there. That's one. You got a talent-wise, he hasn't been there. You got a talent-wise, you have a all-pro, Pro Bowl tight end in Dallas Goedert. You went traded for Jahan Dotson. Yes, hasn't been here long, but you can't tell me within 3 weeks he doesn't have at least a Jahan Dotson package. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. So Jahan Dotson, Saquon Barkley. I'm just going, like I said, Dallas, Jahan, Saquon, Devontae. I'm just going to name them 4. Last night, those should have been your 4 people that you was just at all day. I said on the last stream, you could mix up however you wanted to do. Jahan in the slot, Devontae in the slot, Saquon in the slot, Saquon coming out the backfield, Dallas in the slot, Dallas outside, Jahan outside, Saquon, whatever. You could have moved those guys all around because every last one of them played every last one in their position. Saquon has hit the slot before, obviously coming out the backfield. Dallas, I've seen him line up in the slot plenty of times, especially out there when it comes to the bubble screen. He's out there in the slot. He can go inside in the slot or from the tight end position or coming out the backfield. I've seen him coming out the backfield at times. Devontae Smith, another one, can play the outside, can play the inside. Jahan Dotson can play the inside and play the outside. He played both positions in Washington. It could have been oh so simple for this team last night, but they wanted to make it so freaking difficult.
Guys, damn it!
I just don't understand what the thinking, what the plan was coming into this game last night. So, offensively, game plan, terrible. Got it together late, mostly on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, doing what he does, trying to make plays and win the game. Coaching at the end of the game cost us the game. Shoot, coaching in the beginning of the game might even cost us the game, leaving points on the field. But that brings you to my next point, because we're not going to leave these guys untalked about. The Eagles' defensive line. Trade away Hassan Reddick. You bring me back supposedly a younger version of Hassan Reddick, and he does absolutely nothing for 2 whole freaking games. Not pressures, not affecting the quarterback, no tackles for loss, blowing up screen plays, batting balls down, pause. None of this. Bryce Huff, right now, to me, and I'm always a guy that leaves a little wiggle room for people to mature, to grow, and to learn. He's 24 years old. But presently speaking, right now, it's leaning towards, for me, and I know Howie's done a great job this offseason, probably the worst move of the offseason that Howie's made. Right now, presently speaking, 2-game sample size. I know we got 15 more games to go. But right now, with what we seen, I mean, the guy, he can't get off blocks. He can't shed blocks. He tried to knock hands down to get to the quarterback. He's getting manhandled. He doesn't know how to set the edge. That's why a guy like Bijan Robinson started getting off late. Tyler Algier started getting off after a while. They felt them edges. And not only Bryce Huff, I know I'm going to talk about him just a little bit more because he the one that just got paid. Excuse me. He the one that just got paid. But Josh Sweat. Essentially, the Eagles chose you. Granted, you were cheaper, chose you over Hassan Reddick. And you give us absolutely nothing. They ran left on you. They ran right on Huff. And poor Jaden Carter. I mean, my young boy, I don't know which. He was in a dogfight for sure last night. It was a good battle between him and the guard against Atlanta. But, I mean, poor Jaden Carter. I mean, I don't know how many hats they had on him at once at a time. And then his running mate, Jordan Davis. Was he 2 to 3 years in now? He was here with Jaden Carter. So he's 3 years here now. When are you going to make any substantial play on that field? Obviously, passing downs, I'm just more so sold, unless proven otherwise, I'm more so sold on passing downs. That's just not what he's going to be able to do. He's not going to flourish in his NFL getting after the quarterback. But what they did tell me upon drafting you was, run defense? Absolutely, that's his game. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to put pressure on this team's with. They ain't gonna be able to run on him. I know when he first got here, first year here, that was a big discussion in the city, when we couldn't stop the run for a portion of the season, how the big stat was when Jordan Davis is in the game, teams run for less yards per carry. They sure wasn't running for less yards last night. So if you're not going to give us any pass rush, at least do that well when it comes to the run defense. Gashing us last night. Although Bijan Robinson didn't have a spectacular game, he was very effective in what he did, especially once that second half came around. Him and Tyler Algier. This defensive line is in trouble. I said it once and I'm going to say it again. The Eagles, Howie Roseman, need to look at themselves in the mirror, and by today's end or this week, something has to transpire when it comes to this defensive line. Who we have currently will not cut it. I don't know if that's going back and getting Hassan. I don't know, and I'll look into it, later on, but I don't know if it's we have to go, and I don't know if there's anyone out there to get, like a free agent, whatever, or even a trade. But I've seen enough within 2 weeks to know that even if someone like Bryce Huff specifically, but then his defensive line as a whole, even though they might get better as games go along throughout the season, I also believe it's not going to get substantially better where you can sit there and roll out this same defensive unit every day. The young guy Booker last night had a solid, good game. Made some plays. Was in on the stoppage of Robinson down at the goal line. Holding them to only 3 points during that possession as well. He had a solid game when they inserted him here and there. I believe it's Thomas Booker or something like that. His name is. If I mess his name up, I apologize. Y'all let me know his name. I know his last name is Booker. He made DN for the Eagles. But again, solid game. And at this point, what we've seen in 2 weeks, can a guy like Jalen Hunt get some run? Because not only Bryce Huff, who we paid money to, not doing anything. Not only Josh Sweat, who we paid money to or chose over Hassan Reddick, not doing anything. Jordan Davis, not doing anything. And essentially Jalen Carter not being able to be effective as he can because everyone is around him not living up to what they need to do. A guy like Nolan Smith, I seen him out there a lot doing absolutely nothing. It was a lot of just running, pass rushing, and no one going anywhere. That last drive by Kirk Cousins when they went down and went up and won the game, Kirk Cousins dropped back and never moved from his spot. And the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is not that great. They have one or two linemen that are good, but as a unit, they aren't that great. And he didn't get touched, didn't get sniffed, wasn't pressured, no hands in his face. If you go back and look at those plays, the whole defensive line is being stood up. Josh Sweat on the right side, stood up. Josh Huff on the other side, stood up. Nolan Smith, stood up. Sent Kobe Dean on the blitz one time, stood up, stonewalled. They had they had Bryce Huff one-on-one on a tight end. On a tight end. And he got stonewalled. Stood up. This is just $60 million DN. Replacing a Pro Bowl defensive end that you guys told me was supposed to come in and wreak havoc. Told me his biggest issue was run defense, which that was a major issue last night. But not only that, now he can't even pass rush. Offensive linemen are just literally standing him up. We have issues when it comes to this defensive line. And I don't think it will get that much better this season that this team, the Eagles team, and Howie Roseman can continue to rule this same unit out there. They got to figure it out. That rather than be bringing someone in, bringing off the practice squad, trading for someone, getting Hassan Reddick, getting some of these younger guys in there. Jalen Hunt. I know Nakobe Dean is the starter now, but to have Devin White inactive last night, we sure could have used him on some blitz packages. We blitzed Jordan Love a whole lot in Brazil. And their weapons, I believe, are way better than what Atlanta has as a collective group. When you talk about running back Josh Jacobs, Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, and Jaden Reed out there in Green Bay, as a collection, the group of talent there, I believe, supersedes Atlanta. Yes, they have Bijan Robinson, but after that, Jake London's a nice player. Kyle Pitts, we don't even know what he is because he's in Atlanta. He has the talent. Caught a couple passes. What, Darnell Mooney, who did score. Ray McLeod. This is what we talking about we going up against. And we can't get no pressures. I think we had, what, 1 sack yesterday? 1 sack? And that was from Milton Williams, a backup? A backup who probably was in the game for Jordan Davis at the moment because Jordan Davis can't rush the passer? These are the things that I believe moving forward is a very, very, very serious issue when it comes to the Eagles' defense and defensive line specifically. Vic Fangio, bend but don't break defense at the end of the game, playing your safeties 15 to 20 yards off of the ball, knowing, and this is the problem I have with it, with that situation or that philosophy. I know you watched the whole game seeing that your defensive line wasn't sniffing Kirk Cousins. They couldn't tell you what cologne Kirk Cousins was wearing. Kirk Cousins was clean last night. Knowing your defensive line couldn't get there. And God bless BG. That's my freaking guy. Y'all already know me and BG. That's my guy. But he's 35 years old and he giving it his all, but it just is what it is. And that's the defense you want to play at towards the end of the game, knowing your defensive line can't get there. A bad coaching job by them guys, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Offensively and defensively. It was not a good night at all whatsoever. I'm not overly upset. I'm upset about that game, how it ended, how it transpired throughout the whole game, when we all know, everyone that's in this stream, I appreciate you all guys in here, everyone that's in here. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, But it was just a overall total team loss for me personally. And if we want to, I know we like to play the BAM game, and this is the type of things that we're going to have to talk about throughout the week. But if you want to put an order of I guess the most culpable for a loss down to the least, one, I could easily say, if you got Jalen Hurts high, I don't even want to have a conversation because you didn't watch the game. That's just you not wanting to like Jalen Hurts. Don't get me wrong, not a perfect game at all. And I have criticism for him as well. Because I can go to, especially we all going to talk about the last play, live to fight another day. 2 timeouts, 30 seconds left. You already at the 30. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of time. You only need a field goal to win. So it's not like you needed to either win or tie, one or the other, but it's not like you had to drive the whole field to score. You're taking a big shot right there with I believe it was only a 2-man route to the left, going to the same side with Saquon leaking out on the safety hatch on the check down. And you only have Britton Covey and Devontae Smith in your sights, and you just throw it up to Devontae? No. Terrible decision. Terrible decision. I'm going to say it one more time for you guys that think, I'm just a Jalen lover. Terrible decision. Another turnover. That's on you. Absolutely on you. The drop, that's on Saquon. Players have to perform when their number is called, whether you like the decision or not of the play calling. That's another subject because coaches and coordinators have to put their players in position, the best position, and we all know towards the end of that game, the best position was to run that clock out. That's how you keep the visiting variables around the situation from happening. You try to limit those those things from happening as much as you possibly can. I can guarantee you, I'm not the numbers guy, but I guarantee you, if they pull up numbers and stats in that situation with that much time left, with them with no more timeouts, with you with 2 timeouts, with you were at only 3rd and 3, I guarantee you the percentages would tell you that it was a higher percentage of you getting that first down, running the ball, even if you had to run it twice, than it would be for the passing. Now the pass and the play worked to perfection. He just dropped the ball, which that's another variable that you can't necessarily predict in a situation like that. But overall, this team, this defense, and speaking of defense, I like Slay. I like Slay a lot. I like his presence he brings. I like what he does in the city, interacting with fans, his wife being here. I love every last aspect of it. Every aspect of what he does for the city and what he's done since he's been here. But come on, dude. You just got cooked by Drake London on that last play. First of all, you have, and I'm not saying, and I know they might see this, they gonna lie, y'all know football, blah, 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 whatever. But I know what my eyes showed me, and I know common sense. If I have a safety and a linebacker in the middle of the field, why am I not protecting the outer half of the end zone when I'm the only corner out there? The only corner out there, literally the only place they could go on that side of the field is to the the route that he ran, the out route was the only play you got on that side of the field. And you literally gave up that play. Not sure what you were looking at in the inside. Again, you might have been calling the play, maybe shifting someone over, something like that. I get it. But I just more so believe, like, you first instinct, I'm letting you run inside. Because at least, even if I get beat inside, you still have bodies in the middle of the field. Make a great pass, make a great catch, all the above. It's going to have to be a great pass and catch, is what I'm getting at. But you literally gave them the one thing that couldn't happen on that play. And that makes matters worse. I know you don't care. We know you love football. You're a fan of the game. I get it. But to sit there after the game, you congratulating everybody and hit them with that was a hell of a route or whatever you said to Drake London. Granted, friends, all that stuff, I get it. Damn, dap them up. But not in that moment. It's just a bad look. You got to know your audience. You got to know your city. You got to know your organization. You got to know your team that you play for. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. You cannot get beat that bad on a play at the end of the game and turn around and get caught on mic, get caught on camera, telling the same person who fried you, hello, route. No, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Secondary is still cool to me, but that defensive line, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, and this can't continue on going out this season. NFC East standings, NFC standings. Where we at now, I believe currently right now, all teams except for the Giants are 1-1. Giants in last place, I believe. Since the Commanders beat the Giants this past week, they will technically be number 1 in the division because they have a division win over everyone else. Obviously doesn't mean nothing. A very long season to come. A very long AJ and Huggins. A very long season to go, rather. So I'm not sitting here saying the seasons is over, we're doomed, we never gonna get better. None of that stuff. It's a very long season. A lot of things can be corrected. A lot of things that I even talked about tonight can be corrected. The only things I can sit here and say, especially moving forward, is that I don't believe can be corrected by just work. I'm sorry, guys. 1 second, having technical difficulties. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Where did I leave off at? Excuse me. Um, so the stands, like I said, that's what I said. So like I said, going on down the season, I don't believe it's things can't be fixed or corrected going forward in this season. I do believe that's still there. I know no one wants to hear it right now. But all these things can be corrected. I know it sounds like a playback or whatever, the same thing being said, but it's just true. Rather will it get corrected or not? We will see. Can Jalen Hurts stop turning the ball over? We will see. Can the offensive play calling be better? We will see. Can our head coach be situationally sane? Can he be whatever? Can he be tapped in situationally to know when to do it, when to go for fourth, when to not go for fourth, when to get the points, when to not get the points? We will see. But it's one thing I do believe when it comes to this team, that it's not just going to get better just with practice or working on things. It's the defensive line. That's something I'm looking forward to throughout this season, to see what the Eagles do, Howie Roseman does to try to correct that, because there's no way you can look at these first 2 games and think you can keep going. You can't. You can't. And back to like what I said, if I want to, just talk about blame, coordinators, coaching, play calling, all that in the same situation. Nick Sirianni situationally was terrible. Defense, then you can go wherever you want to go after that. But NFC right now, second in division, tied with the Cowboys 1-1, tied with the Commanders 1-1. Giants 0-2. Still in the running, still in the race. That leads us into this Sunday short week. We right back at it at 1 o'clock. We got the New Orleans Saints. I believe we down in New Orleans at 1 o'clock, a short week. So we right back at it. We'll be right back at it next week as well. Well, not next week, this week as well. After what we seen with them, heavy on the run and attack, Alvin Kamara will be heavily involved in the game plan. The last 2 weeks, they showed that. They do a lot of just getting the ball out of Derek Carr's hands, getting into playmakers' hands. Like I told you last week, he only threw 16 times, could be completed 11 of them. Definitely going to be a task that we're going to have to stand up for. We need to generate pressure scheme, better business, the blackest. Absolutely. I said it earlier. Devin White was inactive last night. We dang sure could have used Devin White last night. Even if it was just on some blitz packages. We could have used him last night. There's no way he should be inactive. No way Devin White, 25 years old, yes, whatever's going on is going on. There's no way he shouldn't be playing. There's no way he shouldn't be playing. There's no way he shouldn't be playing. But again, the Saints this weekend, we're going to see. We're going to see what we have. Essentially, can we recover? These next 2 games, I believe we got Saints and then Tampa Bay right after that. 2 teams that are winning. 2 teams that are 2-0. No, I think the Buckets are 1-1. But either way, 2 teams are playing well. Baker Mayfield playing well right now. Derek Carr playing well, Alvin Kamara playing well. So this is going to be a test, a real test. This is going to be a real test this weekend for sure. 1 second. Read some of you guys' comments here. Excuse me. Let's see. So yeah, defensive line was terrible. Yup. They play calling again. Yup. That's what I'm saying. So all these things I agree with. But we're gonna see. They're gonna run the ball this week. We get into it later on this week. I have my, pregame show, so we'll break down the actual matchup. But they're gonna run the ball this week. That D line better show up. Because it's one thing that Atlanta showed last night, that's for sure. And that's that these edges can be had when it comes to this running game. That is for sure. So I look forward to it. Can the guys get back on track? Can the guys get back on track and win this game for us, essentially, like that when it comes this week? Get back on track, go 2-1. Best case scenario, you 1 or 2-0 the next 2 games going into the bye week, because we have bye week 5 this year, which is terrible. You have a bye week 5. But worst case scenario, you need to lead this game 1-1. So you're going into the bye week. Worst case scenario, need to be 2-2 going into the bye week 5. Best case scenario, win these next 2 games. Going to the bye 3-1, feeling good. And let's see what we got going on. So we got the Saints this weekend, 1:00 in New Orleans. Derek Carr, Jalen Hurts, and the guys. Can we have a better game plan? Can we have a better showing? There will be no A.J. Brown once again. There will be no A.J. Brown once again. It's already been reported. He'll be out for the next couple weeks. And if I wanted to put an educated guess on it, we might as well get ready for A.J. Brown not being back until after the bye week 6. If I know the Eagles like I know them, when it comes to injuries, especially when we're talking about hammies tighten up, I would not be surprised if A.J. Brown is not on this field until week 6 when we play whoever it is when we come out of the bye week. So, again, Eagles lose 22-21 to the Atlanta Falcons late. A lot of controversy, a lot of decisions that don't like. At the end of the day, we're still lost. We still lost. Can't be happy. Let's see if they can do better coming up this week. But again, thank you for joining me. Eagles lose 22-21. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay tapped in with us. I enjoy you guys being with me each and every day. We've been having over 200, 300 people within the live streams on my first 3 days doing this. So I appreciate you guys, everything that you do and everything, and showing up, interacting with me. Again, like I said, comments, concerns, leave a message at the number. We can play them. We can talk. I even have a Q&A call-in session that time. Say that number, 484-519-1495. Leave a message. We'll play them. I answer them. All those things. And again, this weekend, Open Gym merch will be dropping this weekend. So look out for that announcement as well. And just make sure you tap in with us, subscribe, hit the notification button, follow us on all social media platforms, Philly Sports Network on all social media. Also me, my name is at the bottom, only one AB. 2 underscores on Instagram, only 1 _ AB on Twitter. Yeah, so Eagles lose. I'm a little peeved. I'm gonna go get me some tea and relax myself. Eagles play this weekend, 1:00. And until we meet again, everyone, this is your boy AB. And this is the Open Gym. And I'll see you next.
God damn it!